Hi, my name is Tom Wilson. I'm the priest over at All Saints Episcopal Church, and this is the sermon for today, Ash Wednesday. This is based on two lessons for 2 Corinthians 5th chapter through the 20th verse through the 6th chapter and the 10th verse, and Matthew 6th chapter 1 through 6 and 16 through 21. Years ago, I did about 6 seasons of outdoor drama in a couple different places. They were done outside during the summer when rain is not unheard of. In outdoor drama, there's this thing called rain pace. That's when you knew a rainstorm was coming, but you didn't want to cancel the show because if you didn't get through the first act, you had to give the ticket holders their money back. On the other hand, if you made it through the first act and started the second act, then you could give them a rain check, which meant that they could come back another night free and you'd keep the money. Outdoor dramas run on shoestrings, and too many rainy nights meant a difficult time opening next year. Performing at rain pace meant that you could do every line and hit all your blocking, but you would just say your lines fast and move your blocking fast. The difference is like this. Well, thoughtful pause. Jack, I hate to admit it. Jack, you are right. In rain pace, it would be, well, Jack, I hate to admit it, but you're right. The difference between a good performance and one done at rain pace is that you do all the lines and the blocking, but the soul of the performance is missing. In a righteous performance, the actor is in the character. He understands the character. In fact, the character is part of him. He knows what the character feels, how he acts when no one is looking. He knows what's in his pocket. He knows the backstory of the character, and the emotion conveyed in the performance coming out of the things the audience does not know, but the actor does. The actor lives in that awe-filled mystery of the character. In rain pace, the actor is exhausted because all he's done is earn some money, and he's sold himself out. But after a righteous performance, however, the actor is exhilarated, for he's lived into another life. And while he might be tired, his soul is refreshed and alive, and he looks at the world and his fellow actors in thanksgiving. In that space, he really doesn't care about what the critics have to say, for he's entered into the mind of the playwright to live fully into the character that he and the playwright have created. There's a line from T.S. Eliot's play, Murder in the Cathedral. What is the greatest treason? To do the right thing for the wrong reason. That's what Jesus is talking about in the lesson from Matthew for today. Doing the right thing for the wrong reason. The audience knew what the right things were: to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. The outward and visible signs of this, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God, was to fast, to enter into a hunger for God, to give alms as a way of giving thanks for your blessings and helping to create a just society, and to worship and give God the worth of your time and energy and love. He points to some who perform the outward signs, but who have missed the point because they want to impress people with their piety rather than to grow closer with God. They exhibit a "what do I get out of this" mentality. The difference is that doing the right thing for the purpose of impressing others or getting a tax advantage will get you rewards, but they're short-lived rewards because they fade away over time. Jesus calls those earthly rewards, where moth and rust consume and thieves break in and steal. These are to be compared with the heavenly reward, which is entering into a full relationship with God, and he calls that righteousness. And the reward of that relationship is here and now, and he calls that relationship the kingdom of the heavens, and it continues long after we die. Does that mean if you do all the right stuff and do it in righteousness, everything will turn out rosy with you? No, not necessarily. Paul talks about this in the lesson from 2 Corinthians, where he lists a long, very long list of things that have gone wrong in his life. Yet he sees that even in his defeats, he is more than a conqueror. Like Jacob in the Genesis story, it is in the defeats as we wrestle with God that we become blessed and live into a whole new way of being. If we live a life in which our focus is to impress people, the victories are so small. But if we are defeated by God's love, then we grow in faith. There's a poem by Rilke which sums it up. It's called The Man Watching. It goes, I can tell by the way the trees beat after so many dull days on my worried window panes that a storm is coming. And I can hear the far-off fields say things. I can't bear without a friend. I can't love without a sister. The storm, the shifter of shapes, drives on across the woods and across time, and the world looks as if it has no age. The landscape, like a line in a psalm book, is seriousness and weight and eternity. What we choose to fight is so tiny. What fights with us is so great. If only we would let ourselves be dominated as things do by some immense storm, we would become strong too and not need names. When we win, it's with small things, and the triumph itself makes us small. What is extraordinary and eternal does not want to be bent by us. I mean the angel who appeared to the wrestlers of the Old Testament. When the wrestlers' sinews grew long like metal strings, he felt under his fingers like chords of deep music. And whoever was beaten by this angel, who often simply declined the fight, went away proud and strengthened, and great from that harsh hand, and that needed him as if to change his shape. Winning does not tempt that man. This is how he grows, by being defeated decisively, by constantly greater beings. This Lent, we invite you not to strive for small victories, but to enter into a struggle with God's love and forgiveness, where defeat brings you life.